Inappropriate Earl is back in the house, currently number 7 on iTunes Comedy. People are asking me who I paid off to do that. I didn't pay off anyone. It's called hard work, persistence, dedication. See it, believe it, achieve it. And as the ultimate warrior would say, do the fucking work. Get raw. And speaking of getting raw, you see me on my couch right now. It's not Ron Taylor. It's a very old friend of mine. This is kind of a reunion of the Willie Hunter show.
Wow.
A show that should have done much better, but it ain't dead yet, suckers. Put your hands together for an Emmy-nominated writer. Might be the most talented guy I've ever had on my couch.
No.
The great Willie Hunter.
No. You've had some people on this couch. I've seen your posts.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people who do roast battle. You're the most talented person. Sorry, guys, who've been on the couch.
Oh, no. They're very nice of you. Yeah, this is like a Willie Hunter show reunion, which I was thinking about that earlier today. Because when we did the show, it was back in 2012, maybe?
I believe the first show was, Esther was the guest. Dean Del Rey did comedy. And I think...
Chelsea Peretti.
Wow, that's crazy.
Chelsea Peretti was the first guest, and I remember it just went horrible in the belly room, because people came there to heckle. They didn't know it was a talk show, so they thought, oh, we just show up, comics in the back heckling the whole time. And I felt horrible about it. But I remember you were my co-host, and at the time, I was just a doorman at the store. I was probably like 4 years deep in comedy. And I was like, how did I get Earl to be my co-host? The guy's been doing comedy twice as long as me. Why did he agree to this?
I was desperate. I needed a gig.
It was fun, though, and we're going to bring that show back. It was a lot of fun.
Well, you're a great interviewer. I always would tell you this, and it probably sounded like I was, being passive-aggressive with you or some zinger, but you really remind me of the Black David Letterman.
I love that, yeah. It's not a zinger at all. It's a compliment.
But, in this world we live in where L.A. comedy, roast battle, I don't think you can take anything anyone says about you as a pure compliment. It's like,
well, that's why I go to therapy, Earl.
Do you?
Yeah, I go to therapy, and I used to have trouble taking compliments because I always thought there was something behind those compliments. Because we're in L.A., you want to know what people's intentions are behind what they say. Like, oh, great set, and even though I know it wasn't that good, I'm like, I don't trust you. But my therapist says I should always accept compliments. Just say thank you and move on. So whenever someone gives you a compliment, just say thank you and move on.
Well, yeah, you're a very self-aware dude. You know when you've done well, when you haven't.
Yeah.
Or when it's been just okay. I think some comics aren't the most genuine when they say great set. I had a guy tell me great set.
Or maybe they don't even know what good quality comedy is.
There's that too. But I think they see you as an up-and-comer. They're like, I got to get in with Willie, even though he just didn't have maybe the greatest set. I'm going to tell him he did.
Yeah.
Or me, or, the OR is a tough room.
Toughest in, from what I hear, the world. I haven't performed at worldly rooms, but everyone says this is the world.
You're a worldly man, though.
Oh. OR is it's the perfect room for comedy and the hardest room for comedy.
What makes it the toughest room? To you?
To me, what makes it the toughest room is when it's quiet in there, it's quiet. Like, you can hear the air conditioning is on, you can hear it kick on and off, you can hear the waitresses drop drinks, you can hear people coughing and sneezing, when it's really quiet in there, and it kind of fucks with you a little bit. What makes it easy is it's a black box, so you can get away with some of the darkest humor there.
Real dark
humor. Sometimes you hear some things on that stage and you go, that won't work at the improv. Improv's well lit, and it's business, it's corporate, But what makes the Comedy Store really fun is it is that OR is conducive towards other comics watching. Like if you're into town, you can sit in the back and watch, or if you're an up-and-comer or an open mic or whatever you may be, you can sit in the back and watch the greatest acts in the country in the OR any night of the week. That to me is the coolest part of the room. I still do that to this day. I'll go sit in the back and just watch Bill Burr or someone perform. And I remember some open micer came to me and said, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "You're Willie Hunter. You sitting in the back watching?" I was like, "Yeah, you don't conquer comedy. You keep practicing it." I view comedy like medicine and law. Like you're always practicing. You never perfect it, but you're always working on it. You're always working on it. And if you're not, you're fucked.
Oh yeah, I mean I go almost every weekend. I don't have a spot and watch Brian Holtzman.
Yeah.
Because he has this in-your-face style that's not mine, but sometimes he'll lose the crowd, but 100% of the time he gets them back. Mm-hmm. And I like to watch to see how he does that. It's school up there.
It is, and that's a different style of comedy that you need to see. You know what I mean? You can't just be stuck into one. This person does this, set up punch. That's why I liked Angelo a lot. Angelo Bowers, the great Angelo Bowers, passed away. He probably, of all of his sets, which they were all legendary, I'd say he bombed more of the time than he killed. But he killed in my heart because he had the courage to try out new stuff every time he went up on stage.
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember. He was probably the only person I've ever seen do potluck and go, wow, this guy's good. But because that's potluck's even tougher. Like we get to get some sort of a regular crowd in the OR.
Yeah.
Potluck back then, there was just all comics.
Yeah.
And just
mostly homeless people.
Well, all comics. I mean, the Comedy Store potluck back then looked like a bus depot.
It looked like Tent City. And it was like you had so many types of characters. There was a guy that No Face, remember him?
I couldn't really look at him.
For you people listening, No Face was a guy that tried to kill himself by shooting himself and try to swallow a revolver or something, and he had the gun tilted a little too further out, and it just split his face wide open, and they sewed it back together and made a hole in the mouth area. And so he has no nose. He has like a hole where he just, I guess, sips through a straw or something.
Oh my God.
But he would go up on stage and he never talked about it.
Which I liked. Because it's like, you got to figure he's so insecure about how he looks.
Yeah.
Or maybe he isn't. That he would address it and make fun. If I blew off half my face, I would roast myself, basically.
I guess so.
I always like comics who are fat. Ralphie May never addressed how big he was.
Yeah.
Even though you're looking at him going, dude, are you? And we all love Ralphie.
Yeah.
He was the best. But that's why he was so great, was he didn't do the easy joke.
Yeah.
So, No Face didn't quite achieve Ralphie's level
He
of fame.
did not. He not at all. I don't even know where he's at. No one knows. I hope he's fine. But you have the Earl Skakel stamp of approval. No Face.
Well, that's not going to do him very well.
These characters, and I love every now and then. I'll tell some comics who've known these characters. I'll just throw out a name and see if they remember them. Like El Movato.
Oh yeah, the mask.
The mask, the primordial ooze. I'm gonna be a Tonka truck. That's all I said. I'm gonna be a Tonka truck. That's what I want to be.
I mean, people now, since the Comedy Store's a little more mainstream and a legitimate.
Yeah.
I think it's the #1 club in the country.
It is.
So you're not going to really let Elmo or No Face get a lot of stage time.
Not anymore. But back then though, when the Comedy Store was nothing, back in for me, I started coming around to the Comedy Store around 2008, and years before that. But during that time, sometimes there wouldn't be a show in the main room. For days. You were lucky to have an audience in the OR, of 40 people. You were lucky to get that. Now they're selling out every night.
It's really, and people who are coming around now, they don't get it.
it really was the dark era.
Well, I see them at the front patio of the Comedy Store having a good time, and I have flashbacks from when I was a young pup coming in comedy, going, there's no way I'd be out having a good time in the front patio of the Comedy Store when there's jokes to be said and rooms and mics to hit. You know, we would only come to the Comedy Store to perform, not hang out. I always felt like sometimes you get caught up in that Comedy Store scene and you lose focus, because it is a party scene. You can get,
oh my God!
You can get caught up in it, and you lose focus on the task at hand, which is to be a comedian, not a person in comedy.
Yeah, but you get that. Like, I see even today, even last night, the Sacred Ground, which for those of you not in the know of the Comedy Store layout, it's an area in the back where people enjoy all kinds of refreshments. And,
yes, refreshments is a very clean word to use.
Legal refreshments.
Legal, yes, nothing crazy.
Right,
well,
no.
At least not out in the open.
Well, that I have no knowledge of, but it's like 30 comics I've never really seen before, and it's like, why aren't you guys on a stage somewhere? I mean, like, it almost bothers me.
It does bother me, yeah.
Because it's like, I worked so hard to get past up there and struggled for so long, and like, you people think smoking some Pico and Hoover.
Well, also those little treats like Sacred Ground, the bucket seats, parking in the parking lot, the Comedy Store discount for the drinks. Those are the perks of becoming a paid regular at the Comedy Store. That's what you work for. So when you see people enjoying a couple of those perks, you kind of get a little bothered.
I do. Last night it was just like, I almost lost it back then. Like, who are you people? Like, this is your home? Like, you gotta be in here. Like, you go in the back bar, like, same thing. It's like, I don't know who you are. I've never seen you here before in my life. How'd you get a better seat than I did? I kind of see it on Roast Battle, too, like, which is the greatest show on earth. It's given me everything. So, Brian and Jeff, like, I can't say thank you enough to them. But you see some Roast Battle comics walk around the store on Tuesday nights like they're Vince McMahon. And it's like, dude, you're in for a real big shock. When your usefulness on this show is over.
Oh, yeah.
Beat it, Toots.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother thing. And as much as I love Roast Battle, and it's done a lot for me as well, it's also opened a portal towards mediocrity a little bit, to where people just want to get on Roast Battle and they'll write a few little roast jokes and then they're like, I've made it. Like, no, you haven't arrived. You haven't done anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think I know you're a basketball fan. I like to compare Roast Battle to a slam dunk competition.
Okay.
Like,
I know what you're saying. It's like comedy. Stand-up comedy itself is the game. It's basketball. And one of the cool things about it is roasting people. That's stand-up comedy, but that's a byproduct of the game. It's like a novelty, if you will. And not say anything bad about roasting or anything like that, but that's what that is. It's not going to help you with your stand-up comedy. It will get you credits, I guess, to do stand-up, but if you're not working on stand-up, why would you want to go? I mean, there's people walking around here that are headlining, and I'm like, I'm not a headliner. I have about 40 minutes of material that I've worked hard on for the past decade. But I don't consider, and I can stretch that out, but I don't consider myself a headliner yet. And I could be wrong, but there's some people that have been doing comedy for a couple years saying, I got my first headlining gig. I'm like, why would you want to do that to yourself?
Or the audience.
Or if there is an audience. I mean, you're the headliner. I'm sure no one knows who you are.
I mean, it's. I think you could headline though. You've got the TV credits to say, "Hey, you've seen him on the Carmichael Show. You've seen him on Roast Battle. Every week. It's not like you just did one roast." And by the way, this just popped into my head. I saw a girl on a comedy show flyer say Roast Battle as her credit. Now there's 32 people
on the lineup.
Yes.
Jesus.
But it was like, Willie Hunter from Carmichael's show.
Yeah.
You can use that as a credit.
Yeah.
You were nominated. I can't even talk right now. Caffeine's kicking in. You were nominated for an Emmy for your writing on that show. you can say that there's 32 people who can use Roast Battle as a credit. A few I don't like, but they were on the show.
They were on the show.
So it's a credit. This girl was not one of those 32.
Yeah.
Welcome to Hollywood.
Did she do? She's using it from the comedies. Maybe she did.
Yeah, but I don't think you could use Roast Battle as a credit if you just done it in the belly room on a normal Tuesday night.
Yeah.
I mean, why don't you put Temecula Roast Wars up there too? You palming fools. Because then it ruins the credit for guys like you or me or whoever.
I don't even know if the audience really cares about credits.
I think
it piques their interest to come out, maybe. Like, oh, I know he did that, let's go check him out, or whatever,
I think they do. Like, I could go on stage tonight at the Comedy Store and bring you up and say he just did an HBO special. They're automatically going to like you better.
You're right.
No, I'm not. I mean, I could be wrong.
They're gonna at least give you a try.
Or if they said about me, like, he just headlined, I don't know, Just for Laughs. Oh.
Yeah.
But you only get their love for that first minute.
Oh, I've seen that happen to Chris Tucker before. He went up in the main room one time, and everyone's like, Chris Tucker. The crowd gave him maybe a minute. I mean, it was a black audience, too, so they give you a short amount of time to really showcase your talents.
Fuck that. Sorry, Uncle Levi.
And he was doing some jokes and just talking about being famous, and then the crowd just wasn't having it. They turned on him. I was like, God, if they can turn on Chris Tucker, they don't really care about me.
Yeah, you think they care I won or finished third place in Roast Battle 2 years ago?
God damn! I froze in rush hour! That's my Chris Tucker impression right there. One time I was hosting Potluck and I got to bring him up. It was one of the coolest moments of my life.
Was he nice?
He was a nice guy, yeah. I made a little jab at him when I brought him up because he was wearing all white. And I said, oh, give it up. And he's successful. He's wearing all white. Everyone give it up for Chris Tucker, everyone. Chris Tucker comes up on stage, kind of looks me up and down. He goes, give it up for Richard Pryor's son, everyone. Richard Pryor's son. Hell, he could be my son. And the crowd ate that up. And I was like, wow, I just got made fun of by Chris Tucker. So.
And then he bombed for 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's probably what happened.
I mean, I've seen Jeremy Piven do stand-up.
Oh, God.
I'd say this. He's a nice guy. It's a little rough.
How do you know if he's a nice guy? Did you talk to him after?
I mean, small talk. Hey, what's up?
Okay. Was he seeking comedy advice, or did he bring up comedy?
I think, he was in sacred ground and, holding court. And someone said, someone pointed to me and go, this guy's really funny. You should ask him. I said, hey, I loved you in Heat when you were the doctor trying to shake down De Niro for an extra 100. And he laughed and just, I don't know if he should be doing stand-up.
No.
No,
he should not be doing stand-up at all. I've never...
I get it.
Sure, it's free to everyone. Everyone should try stand-up comedy. I always say that. Everyone should try it. You know why? Because it will, in most cases, comedy will either eat you alive and make you quit, or you will succeed. I mean, we've seen a lot of people over the years...
Oh, yeah. Funny people, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've almost quit several times.
Oh, yeah, me too. I mean, that's a normal thing. You ask yourself, what am I doing here?
Well, there's so much that's out of your control. Like,
yeah.
It's just like, Jimmy Carr gave me the best advice, my buddy. People think we don't like each other, but...
I've seen you guys all...
We love each other.
Yeah.
He's like the best. And he was just like, I can't do an impression of him, but he was just like, Earl, worry about your side of the road and be funny. And in some ways, it's like, well, no shit, Jimmy.
Yeah.
But when you get that advice from him, it's like, oh, yeah, I guess if he's saying it, it's got to be true.
Yeah.
Because he's pretty successful.
Yeah, I see that sometimes when I see a physical comic on stage or something and they're killing, and it makes me go like, man, I need to do more physical stuff. And I'm like, but I'm not a physical comic. I
can't.
What am I doing? What am I gonna hump the stool like everyone else? No, I don't do anything.
Well, but I mean, I can't. Yeah, it's like Tom Brady doesn't look at Michael Vick and go, I got to run around like that.
Yeah,
you can't.
Exactly, you can't. So I like that Jimmy Carr said that. Jimmy Carr. I really liked his special. I remember when I saw it, and I was slightly starstruck when I met him in Montreal. I was like, because I really admired his special, and he's a nice guy too.
Oh my God, he's like his roasting demeanor is so opposite. Like he's almost kind of quiet off stage, and like if you have a conversation with him, it's like this. It's very like low volume and intelligent. And he's listening to actually what you're saying. Most comics, who's in the room, who's over Willie's shoulder.
But isn't that like a great quality that people don't talk about in Hollywood? Is that quality that you have, I have, and even Jimmy Carter we're talking about now, is that pleasant to be around, and not only do you want this person to succeed, but you're willing to help in any shape or form.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, shout out to a man in chat right now who has helped both of us.
Oh, okay.
Giving us many spots, and just a shout out to Red Band.
Oh, Red Band, hey buddy.
But that's what I try and emphasize to people the most is like, you got to be liked in this business.
Yeah. There was this comic, and I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want to cause any controversy.
Of course.
But he is he's a veteran.
You talking about me?
No, no, not comedy veteran, like an actual like a war veteran or something like that. He served. And nothing against that, but I remember he was talking about how everyone in Hollywood's fake, and no one's real, and I'm fake, and all this stuff, and I served. He kept bringing that up. I served.
I think I know who he is.
And honestly, at one moment in my head, and this is when I felt the most un-American. I wanted to say, who gives a fuck that you serve?
Not in Hollywood.
You don't say that. There's almost like you don't do that. If you give it up for the troops, you got to say that every time. And I am very grateful for the troops. But, like Donald Trump said it best. You knew what you were getting into. You signed up for it.
You voted for me.
You voted, But he was just being difficult. And I was saying, you're not going to accomplish anything with an attitude like that. What are you trying to accomplish with that shitty attitude that hopefully someone will be like, I like your attitude. It's different from everyone else. You're difficult and you're mean. I want to put some money behind that. No one's going to do that. No one's going to do that.
Well, it's funny, and I'm almost 100% positive I know who you're talking about, because last night he was giving me shit for my podcast. And, I think it's part of their problem is they might indulge in the liquid beverage.
That happens a lot.
And he was like, oh, big deal, your podcast, man, number 7. You bet you think you're hot shit. And I'm like, no, I don't. Like, there's 1,000 podcasts out there, I'm sure. There's many better than mine or whatever.
Yeah.
Bigger than mine. And, it's like, dude, I'm pretty low on the totem pole in the world of stand-up. But, I'm someone who can help get you at least through 1 or 2 doors up here.
Yeah.
And you're going to you think I'm going to do it now?
Yeah.
Like, it's cool you're being around your friends and you're shitting on someone who's above you, so maybe you're getting brownie points, to these freakers. But, and I see it with some roast battle comics where they don't turn it off and they're, they turn the patio and the parking lot into like an untelevised roasting session. It's like, dude, this guy can help you. Or girl.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I mean, you're one of the more well-liked people I've ever met in comedy. I've never heard, we've known each other 2008 probably.
Yeah.
Certainly gotten closer in the latter years, but I've never heard a bad word about you. And look at the success you get.
People root for me. I'm very grateful for that. I'm sure there's some people that don't like me, especially when I was hosting Potluck at the Comedy Store for years. You host that show, you kind of make some enemies when you don't put up someone. I mean, I had a guy swing at me. You remember that? There was a comic that was coming in from New York. I was hosting the show.
I do remember.
And I said, I can't put you up. And Tommy made me put him up. And this guy did 8 minutes. He ran the light by 5 minutes and bombed for 8 minutes. Got off stage. I walked out to the front. And I said, don't you ever do that on my show again. I'm never putting you up. You're horrible. I said these things, And I had had a couple of drinks, so I was feeling very confident. And then the guy gets in my face, goes, "What did you say?" I said, "You heard what I said." And I meant every word that I said. And then I pushed him back, and then he pushed me, and then I pushed him again, and then he swung. And as he swung, Stuart Thompson comes walking out, and he hits Stuart right in the face.
Oh.
And then someone from the bottom of the stairs screamed, "He hit Stuart!" And I saw like so many people grab Stuart's. This is how well like Stuart is. I seen so many people grab this guy. He was a big guy, and drag him out to the outside of the club and pushed him out. You know, it was wild. You know, and I caused it all. I was an instigator, but when I knew that people had my back, or Stuart's, whoever it was, I was like, I'm kind of liked here a little bit. You know.
I mean, that was back in the day where you could probably get away with hitting someone if they mouthed off to you.
Yeah, not anymore.
Oh no, you'll get instant ban, probably for life.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, probably the only constant through both eras is Boone Shakalaka. I don't know if he can do anything to get banned.
I don't think he can. I mean, he can get. He should get Me Too'd by some of the male comics, but you know, I mean, he's walking around with a T-shirt that says like Jeremiah Watkins and Dan Biolette and Matt Egger. You know, he's walking around with T-shirts with their names on it.
Basically, younger comics who he wants to fuck.
Yeah, that's what it is. And I find it funny because he has a type, which is young and white. He loves white guys.
He was talking to someone on the patio last night, young white guy, and he's getting closer and closer to like, this guy has no idea what he's in for.
Oh my god.
But that's what makes the story, I think, is they let someone like Boone hang out there.
Yeah.
You know, he flossing his teeth in the corner, picking his toes, with like, while it's probably a billionaire's buying drinks right next to him. I mean, it does give the story that extra.
It's gritty.
Yes.
You know, and it's not. I mean, it's not a corporation. You know, like your Improvs, which are all over the country, and your Laugh Factory trying to franchise out as well. And I'm sure at some point the store will franchise out. There was talks about a couple years ago that possibly bringing one back to Westwood, which I think would be be amazing. But I don't know the logistics of that because your customers will be underage people. So.
But I mean, because I've often looked at that. You know, college students, they're fucking lazy.
Yeah.
They don't want to drive. Some of them, probably half don't have cars.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess with Uber, it's a little, easier. But like, I would think a comedy club in Westwood would do amazing business.
Yeah, I think it would too. You know, if they want to do it, I don't know. I just remember someone tell me about that, and I was like, that was good. I think whoever told me that was saying, Willie, would you want to be in on that? And I think they meant that as like a like managerial or talent coordinator thing to that. And I was like, fuck no, I don't want to do that at all. I don't want any of that. I don't want any of that stress. I don't want to be a talent coordinator of anything.
I mean, I thought, because I respect comedy so much, part of me would want to be a talent coordinator.
You like to try it out.
I also want to keep doing comedy, so,
It's a conflict of interest there.
I mean, Duncan Trussell was very good at doing both.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he put himself on, back in that dark era, in like after Caparillo, or I don't think I would. I'd give myself the same 2 spots or 1 spot a week I get. And I mean,
you'd be fair about it.
I think I would. If I would put up someone I didn't like if I thought they were funny.
Yeah.
I'm very good at. I think you are too, of separating. Okay, I don't like this person, but they are pretty funny. If they haven't burned you too badly.
Yeah, I do that.
I'll tell Gerard about them. Hey, this guy or girl.
What I do is that some people I treat everything like an electron cloud,
right.
Like friendships. Like you have your 2 electrons around your atom, and then it goes to 4 or 6 or whatever it is. I don't know. You science nerds know. That's how I treat.
You just lost my fan base.
That's how I treat friendships. Like I have close friends, and then I have acquaintances, and then I have people I know.
Right.
And sometimes people don't know where they're at in that field. When you meet someone, and Like, I met someone for the first time, and next thing you know, he wants to get coffee. He wants to hang out. I'm like, bro, we just met. And then I have plenty of friends. Or he's new to town, this guy, and I don't want to be a person that has to help. I mean, I'll help out as much as I can, but I can't guide anyone.
Right.
I don't know how the hell I got to where I'm at right now.
Hard work.
That's it. You just keep your head down and do the work.
I mean, you really are the poster boy for how to do it. You came out here, Alabama.
Yep.
I mean, not a lot of money, no connections.
Yep.
Probably few friends. Look at you.
None. No friends. I didn't know anyone out here.
So I respect that. I mean, that's like.
I couldn't do that again. I could not do that now, I believe. I was 21 when I moved out here, and I'm 31 now. But when I was 21, I really had nothing going for me. I just had some dreams and some aspirations, and I wrote a couple of scripts, and I said, let's just go to Los Angeles and see what happens, you know? And then I took a Greyhound bus out here. But if looking back today, if I wanted to start comedy now, I don't know if I could do it. I would talk myself out of it.
I mean, I think you probably did do it at the right time, you know, age-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I would love to go to New York just because I think it's a better comedy city. But, you know, at 49, I don't know if I would be up for the grind of doing that. At 29, I probably would.
Or the New York grind?
Well, I think it's a better, like, when I did
Pete Del Rey's doing it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think everyone's got a different path and, you know, desire to do certain things that other people won't. I'm sure I do things Dean doesn't, and vice versa. You do things that maybe Moses, you know, doesn't, you know, find appealing, and you know, yet we're all.
I'm trying to change myself into. I'm not a road comic. And nothing against road comics. I just don't like being on the road. I like being at home. I like I'm a home based type of person. And I'm trying to change that mentality because the road, there's money out there, you know.
Oh my God.
And I need to get over my whatever hang up I have about being on the road and just do it.
I mean, you know, I think the road depends what road. You know, I don't.
Well, I'm not talking about a trouble run. You know,
I
I'm
know.
not going up to Montana or.
And hey, can you pick up the headliner in Missouri?
Can you pick up the headline in Missouri, and on your way through St. Louis, there's a bale of hay. Can you pick that up too for my farm? No, it would have to be something cool, and I got some managers now that they're gonna help me out with that. So hopefully I'll be at someone's city, you know, here pretty soon, and they'll be able to see me. And then their town. And we do that with Roast Battle. We did that. We went on the road, and that was fun. And I didn't mind it because I was with friends.
Right.
You know, when you're traveling with friends, the whole Roast Battle crew, I love all those guys. It's just the thought of being alone on the road. I think I would get bored, and I don't really put myself out there as I like to think, you know, for adventures. So I just think I just need to get over that fear. I just need to get over it.
Well, you're definitely ready for it, and you know, you with your TV credits. You know, Roast Battle, the Carmichael Show, like, you wouldn't be doing triple runs. You'd be, you know, doing what Gerard did. Like, when he was kind of climbing, you know, you'd do that comic strip in Edmonton, or, you know, I mean, New York, you could, The Stand, or The Cellar, or, you know.
Do you ever do, like, those showcases for, like, Montreal and stuff like that?
I mean, I showcased for New Faces, like, I think 4 years in a row. And I got discouraged. I mean, now it's hard to, you know, when you're 49, I don't think New Faces is really. Not really a new face. But, you know, like, you know, the first year I was pretty good. Second year, very good. Third year, I got a call back. And two people who bombed on the callback got it. And after that, I was like, okay, I don't get this.
Yeah.
You know, and the guy said, you know, they had me. So the fourth year, it's like, hey, man, you should have been there last year. But those two who got it, they have managers. So, you know, that's what
I'm starting to figure out what managers do. I'm starting to figure out what they do. Because to be honest with you, they don't really do shit. They collect checks. But what they do is they pester on behalf of the client.
Absolutely. Like someone said it the perfect way to me the other day. the only thing a manager's good for is being the bad guy, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
So, but they're valuable. Like I think you and I are very similar personality-wise. Quiet, you know, and not. I want to say a pussy, but I mean that from the
more reserved a little bit.
Right. Like, you know, like for me, I wish I had a manager for roast battle to go. Is there a reason Earl's getting all the tough opponents and other people aren't? Like,
because other people, managers, were probably doing that.
Oh, and I get it. Like now, I mean, it was very frustrating to me to, you know, like in the road to roast battle, which you know obviously therefore, like I got Jesse Joyce, who's an amazing writer, and you know a great comic, but it's like that's a Comedy Central employee. Like other people on that season were getting their podcast partners, people they had already beaten, you know, and I'm like, why?
I mean, there could also be, and this is wrong to do, but they also know that you're also capable of rising to the occasion.
Well, that's what was told to me, so I thought, okay, I'll buy into that. I still don't believe that to a degree. It's like it's a Comedy Central employee. You clearly want your own on the show. I get that. And then, you know, Montreal, I would say my bracket was bordered on unfair.
Who's your opponent?
Well, the first opponent, the one that you guys oiled me up for, was the legendary Australian comic Tom Ballard.
Oh, that's right.
And in the roast battle LA world, not a lot of people know him, but you know there was a roast battle season before we all went up there. It was the Jeff Ross Roast Masters, and a lot of people think Tom beat Jimmy Carr, and he beat Tony, and I mean he was just ripping through people. And I'm like, well, that's kind of a tough first round opponent.
Yeah.
And then I got Jimmy Carr, and it's like, well, what? Like, huh? Like, why? Like, who did I piss off at this network? And then I get Tiana, and then K. Trevor Wilson, and it's like, well, like a manager would have said, call up Jeff, Comedy Central, Moses, or whoever, Jordy, or go, hey, you know, we'd really like it if Earl got this person instead, or like so. And I'm sure it would be the same for you. Like, hey,
because they want their client to be happy, you know. And as a client, you can say something like, I don't like this. Can you say something about that? And then they'll do their thing. And that's all I feel managers do. But I've never found myself in those situations, so I don't feel like I really need them. But you need them to get into the door. You know, it's like you can't show up to the party alone, the industry party. You got to bring your manager too. Who do you know? You have a manager, you have an agent, you know? And it sucks because those guys are, I think they're cluttering the art field from art to commerce, you know, from like you making your art and then you making money off of it. These managers and agents are clogging up that system because they're trying to get their cut too of whatever. They didn't do anything. They didn't help bring the product to life. They didn't even work on it. So that's a whole nother fight. They're fighting it with the WGA right now, where a lot of these managers are trying to get in with writers and become executive producers. They're trying to get that credit for not doing anything. They just want to get it because, and this happened to some big time, like celebrities. They'll get their managers, they'll get a credit on their show, and that's just not fair compared to the talent that's on the show. You know, Comedy Central don't pay much. You know,
they do if you keep winning.
If you.
I can vouch for that.
Well, they give the Wave literally peanuts, so, and I mean, I'm grateful for it, but I just remember how, like, working at the Wave, there was a lot of hard work involved, and people look at what we do, and it's silly, and it's spontaneous, but we have to go to the prop store, plan out these bits, try to line them up with the comics, and guess the jokes. We don't know what the jokes are going to be said. People used to say, maybe you guys should see the jokes. Like, no. That ruins the fun. You know, that ruins the fun. We want to be also spontaneous with our action. But anyway, we're working on the Wave. We're working hard for doing all those props. And I remember I got paid more for a week of work at Carmichael than I did for every episode of Roast Battle.
Welcome to Hollywood.
And that's when I was like, yeah, dog. And I worked my ass off on Roast Battle. Carmichael, I mean, I worked hard too, but you know, it was just mostly a mental workout.
Well, yeah, I mean, you guys don't know what, you know, I'm going to say or Jimmy Carr's going to say or what Coach T's going to cue up.
Yeah.
You know, what Jeff's going to say or Moses. You know, there's so many zingers and, like, you don't know what Sarah Silverman or Judd Apatow or Dr. Ken. So you guys have to be the most, you guys have to actually pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah, and people come up to me after the show and they'll ask me which joke I like the most. I'm like, I don't remember any. I just remember, did that joke pop or did it not pop? Did the judge say something? Or do we have our props lined up for this bit that we have to do? You know, it's time consuming and it's fun, but it's so funny to me that the people that don't like the wave, you know, there are people out there, you know, we're controversial on social media. They find us distracting and taking away from the art of roasting. To which I say is that if you want to see someone just tell jokes to watch Yo Mama, you know, watch something like that. That's a different show.
Well, I think the problem in the first season. Hey, listen, I'm not trying to tell anyone how to do their job, but I think you guys should have had a wave camera that's directly on you guys.
Well, the thing was, people that shot Roast Battle, they had never seen a roast battle. They were going to shoot it like it was a regular roast. They were like, yeah, we'll put a camera on the judges. We'll put a camera here and a camera here for the contestants. Who are these people? They're the wave. Oh, okay. All right, so let's get this show started. And then they saw what we did, and then they're like, tell us when you guys do stuff. And then we started rehearsing with them. It was a learning process for them to how to capture the wave stuff. We would come in for rehearsal. We would tell them what bit we're going to do so they can capture it with the camera. The best part about the Montreal one, if you were in the green room, you got to see the uncut one. So you got to see us really wild out. And what they cut together on Comedy Central of us was not that. It looked distracting. It looked like we were idiots that was trying to ruin a show rather than enhance it.
Yeah.
But Crashing, they shot that beautifully.
I wasn't there. Gee, I really enjoyed that episode. What was the episode about? Let me think about it. Oh yeah, it was about a guy battling this girlfriend, and they had troubles after. Gee, where did they get that idea from? Oh, who knows? Thank you. I'll see you in the writer's room. I mean, what? Yeah, let's not...
No, obviously. Did you watch the episode?
It was too hard for me to watch.
Yeah.
I could not. I did not.
That's what I was thinking. Like, you had just been judging the whole time.
Well, no, as someone who battled two girlfriends on the show, and had problems with both, not immediately, but relatively soon after said battles, I felt very connected to that episode.
Yeah, obviously, it's a slice of your life.
Yeah, let's put some New York comics in who had nothing to do with that. Oh, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, it was I think, because Pete Holmes is a fan of Roast Battle.
Yes.
So I think
and Judd Apatow.
Oh yeah, I mean Judd's
he came and sat down for one of the episodes.
Judd's the best. I had a chance to talk to him until the Comedy Store lawyer was cock-blocking me in the conversation. Like, dude, this is Judd Apatow. Like, I don't have access to someone like him going on at 1 a.m. at the store. Beat it.
Yeah.
And then Judd went and talked to someone else.
Of course.
And I'm talking to the Comedy Store lawyer.
Oh my God.
About Poonteen. In this business, you got to seize the opportunity.
I remember I had something similar to that when we were in Montreal for Roast Battle. And this is back when Louis C.K. This is before the allegations. I mean, the word was out, but it was never out there. So Louis C.K. is top of his game. He had saw Roast Battle in Montreal. He sat in the audience and he came into the green room area, and he looks at someone. I feel someone staring at me, and I turn around, and he's just staring at me, and he comes walking towards me, and he goes, "Hey, you're part of the wave, right?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Huge fan of your work," and shook my hand, and I was like, "Oh my God, Louis C.K. is a fan of my work. This is amazing." And I'm thinking, I'm gonna use this for the rest of my life. And then the allegations dropped, and I was like, well, it was fun while it lasted, you know.
I never met Louis C.K. What are you talking about?
Louis who?
Well, I mean, you know. I mean, what can you do? I watched The Cosby Show as a kid.
Yeah.
I was a fan. It's tough. It's like beat it.
I think you have to separate the art from the person.
It's tough. Like, you know, I know you're a Michael Jackson
Absolutely,
fan,
yeah.
and you do a killer dance routine that I feel like I'm watching Michael Jackson.
Oh.
And Beat It is probably my favorite song of all time.
Eddie Vedder comes in there.
Yeah, he does the guitar solo, and I have trouble with I have no idea. If
This is my 2 cents on Michael, is that in my heart I want to believe nothing happened, but there's so much damn evidence, and it's not like evidence that he had sex with these kids. It's just that he just did weird shit around kids. Like he would have sleepovers, you know, with these kids, and I read this in a book, and he would say things like, "I have to go to the bathroom and masturbate. If I don't, I'll be crazy all day." You know, like, he didn't masturbate in front of the kids, but he did talk about masturbating in front of the kids. Like, that's Michael. You kind of crossed the line. I think he kept crossing lines. I don't think he actually had sex with those kids, but I think lines were crossed a lot.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, I kind of think he did, but I have zero proof. Like, I just, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. But, you know,
were people afraid back in the day to come forward with? Because I feel like now everyone has a story. Everyone wants to come forward about something. But back in the day, people just.
I think do you want to make it or not?
Wow.
I mean, I was sexually harassed on the real for at a meeting. Had a casting at a certain network.
Mm-hmm.
He's no longer with us, so I don't want to say his name. But
yeah.
And it, you know, it didn't really bother me. I'm like, oh, this is just how the business is. But you know, when all this stuff started happening, I was like, oh wow, that was pretty fucked up.
It was.
You know, he basically called me into his office, unzipped his pants, and said, hey, I ran a marathon this weekend. My balls are bruised. And, you know, this guy was very legitimate. I mean, on this network, he casted the main shows, so it wasn't like I was at his studio apartment in Van Nuys. I was in his office on the lot. So, you know, it bothered me more when Harvey Weinstein and, you know, Cosby and, you know, all that. It's like, wow, that was fucked up.
Yeah.
And you don't know what's true and what isn't. Like, you know.
I guess because I've always been like an aloof guy or something like that, and always just been very naive about a lot of things that I just thought, oh, that person was just being weird, and then I'm like, no, that person was trying to fuck. That person was trying to get down.
And you weren't ready to get down. You were ready to get up and get out of there.
Oh man,
but
you can use the business to sexually harass someone. Like, you go in for a part, they'll talk about you as if you're an object, and you are casting wise. But you know, when we were casting for Carmichael's show, and I found myself like, this one girl came in, and I'm not saying I did anything wrong. I'm saying that I was put in a position that I could have done something wrong. Sometimes these stories are muddy. This girl comes in auditioning for the Maxine character. She's wearing this low-cut shirt. Her boobs are just hanging out. She's wearing a mini skirt, you know, just the skimpiest outfit you can wear for an audition. And I'm sitting there, and luckily our casting director, they're all women. So it's me, Gerard, Ari, and 3 other women. And before anybody said anything when she walked out, those women go like, what was that? What was she wearing? And I was like, yeah, that was distracting. It was very distracting, but I'm glad I didn't say. I could have chimed in and been a compliment and went like, I think we found the right girl. You know, I said something sleazy, and then I've been caught up in the Me Too, man. I'd have been caught up in that whole thing.
How many episodes did you get? Well, you do have to be careful, like, you know, especially at the Comedy Store, which is like a rumor
mill, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a high school. It's the best place on earth, but like, you know, you go into a room with someone, they must be fucking.
Yeah.
You know, you give a waitress or whoever a ride up the hill, they're fucking.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've lost probably 2 out of my last 3 girlfriends due to false statements or innuendos. You know, and it's like
I never try to. I used to be in the gossip, the Comedy Store gossip, and then I kind of just bowed out. So whenever someone tries to bring up something to me, I just go, I don't want to hear it. This one girl came up to me, and I think she had just started comedy. She's probably a couple years in, and she goes, "You know, Willie, we talk about you. Us female comics talk about you. You don't want to know what we say?" And I said, I don't care. I don't want to know. I really don't care. I have a girlfriend. I'm good.
Rebecca's the best.
Yes. She's been to your home before, haven't she?
She has not been to my home.
I thought you guys watched a movie one time or something.
I wanted to have her on the podcast after we watched one of... Can I say who she is?
Rebecca?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I say who her... Like, can I mention her last name?
Sure, yeah, you can mention that, yeah.
Willie has an amazing girlfriend, Rebecca Forsyth. Her father is one of my favorite actors of all time. The great, and I don't want to say character actor, because I think character actor is like calling a comic an open micer.
Yeah.
Like, in the technical sense, Angelo Bowers, who was the best, was a open micer, but he was far from an open micer.
Yeah.
One of the top 5 funny, in the 20 years I've done stand-up, he was one of the top 5 funniest dudes.
I gotta agree.
Known or unknown. So, I don't like saying character actor, but William Forsythe is... I mean, his IMDb page is probably 8 pages to... And
it's a weird portfolio. I've only seen one of his movies.
Which one?
Blue Streak. And that's with Martin Lawrence, you know. And it's not that great of a movie. It has, you know, some moments in it, but it's not that great of a movie. And I was like, oh yeah, I met him. I met him once, and I was so intimidated, you know, because he's a kind of a... He's not a... I'm taller than him, but he's a big guy. You know, he has like this imposing figure. You know, like a old school Hollywood actor would feel like. If I met De Niro, he would feel bigger than me too. You know, even though I may be taller than him. And we hit it off fine. But he's an old school guy, definitely.
He's like a '50s barber, like those. I don't want to say musky, but those gruff.
Yeah.
Just like a Dick Butkus style.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. Like you gotta man up when he's around.
Like a smaller Clint Eastwood, like just an old school, just no bullshit, you know. And he's probably the most prolific character actor ever. I mean, he's acted in 4 decades of.
Yeah, and he's still acting to this day.
Yeah, from Deuce Bigalow, where he played the detective with a rash. And a Boardwalk Empire. I mean, it's
Dick Tracy.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like Dick Tracy. Like he looks like he just walked into the makeup trailer and they're like, "You're good. Let's get the next guy in." Like,
wow.
You know, he's a fine man and he's raised a great daughter.
Oh, she's great. She is encouraging. She's an actress too, and yeah, she's. I'm a lucky guy.
In a weird way, I look at her and go, "That's William Forsythe's daughter." Like I don't want to say after how we just described him, she kind of looks like him to me. Like
she's definitely his
the
daughter.
eyes, the nose.
Like there's no doubt about it. And I remember David Taylor, who has no filter or anything on him, goes when I first started dating Rebecca, he was like, "Oh yes, I do know her. She looks exactly like her dad." And then he walked away. I'm like, "Thank you, David. Thank you."
That's Dave being nice.
Yeah. The funniest time that anyone came up to me and ripped on me was Ian Edwards. When Chelsea Peretti started coming around to the Comedy Store, and I was a doorman there. And I had like a little crush on her. You know, she's a funny female comic. And
sure.
You know, I think everyone had a crush on her. And Ian got wind of it, and he goes, "Oh, Chelsea Peretti? You mean the female Neil Brennan?" And then he walked away, and I go, why do you guys do this to me? Like, when I get excited about a girl, you gotta bring up the fact she slightly looks like a man.
Welcome to the Comedy Store, Honcho. But that's the store, I think.
That's the store for you.
Like, you don't
go in there with happiness.
Yeah. Oh, Willie's... I'm not saying you were in love with her when you first started dating her, but like, oh, Willie likes this girl. Let's tear that down somehow.
Yeah. When people... You know what? And that's how I know that I guess I am a little respected at the store is I used to have a fear that if I was dating a girl, I never wanted to bring her to the Comedy Store around comics, because you leave that girl there standing alone. That is like an antelope in a, lion's den. It is just meat city, and you can just see guys licking their chops.
Oh.
But people at the store, I guess, know of me that when I trust certain people, I guess, around my girl, to where I can be like, I'm gonna run to the restroom.
Oh yeah, I mean the store. I tell every guy, don't bring your girlfriend up there and leave her alone.
Yeah.
The wolves come out at night. Just either don't bring her at all, or I mean,
it is changing a little bit. There's been some Me Too drama that's happened at the store. Some people have gotten banned. A couple of our friends actually.
Yeah, I mean it goes back to the Michael Jackson thing where like, okay, what do I believe? What do I not believe? I mean, she said this.
Well, in one case with one guy, there was text messages, so it was concrete evidence.
Oh, I think is he named after a country?
Yes, he is.
But there's a dude. I really want to say his name, but we won't. Well, he was when we did the Road to Roast Battle, the commercial shoot, which was like an abandoned tire factory in downtown. Very long day. It was like 15, 16 hours. I mean, I don't have to tell you about it.
No, it was too long.
Hurry up and wait.
And I didn't even make the billboard.
Me neither. Oh, been on the show from day one. We're going to put, there's one guy in the billboard. That Comedy Central billboard really explains his business overall. There's a guy over Moses' shoulder who nobody knew who they were. And I kept asking someone, who is that guy over there? And he had a manager who had a friend who was producing the show, so they just threw him on the billboard.
Wow.
It's like, wait a minute. You got Willie, and I actually said this, I include every Wave member, Willie, Jamar, Jeremiah, and me have been on the show basically from day one, or pretty close after that. And some guy who has nothing to do with the show and isn't even a fucking comic, he's getting on the billboard?
It was such a downer for me, because I remember seeing the billboard and I didn't see myself on there, so I was excited about the show getting a billboard, but then I was pissed that I wasn't in the billboard.
Yeah, I mean, and not that being on a billboard's going to make you famous, but
well, when you see other people enjoying the fruits of your labor,
yeah.
You want a little piece of the cut. You want the perks, which is I want to be on that damn billboard.
That was always my problem. But then I got to be in most of the commercials. Even on season 2, which I wasn't on, they would always cut to that one thing where you guys oiled me up and I spit the water out. So it's like, all right, that's cool, I guess, but I mean, what made you pick the Comedy Store? I mean, did you have, when you left Alabama, there's Comedy Store, there's the Improv, there's the Laugh Factory. Did you hone in on the Comedy Store for a specific reason?
No. I remember being at home watching Minding the Store on TV, and I was thinking about doing stand-up at the time. I was probably like 14 or 15 at the time, and I liked stand-up, but I didn't think I could do it. Well. And then when I got the courage to move out when I was 21, about 7 years after I was 14, the first place I went to was the Improv. I thought I had improv vibe on me, and that club felt like something to me.
Right.
And I had seen a lot of the evening at the Improvs. I had done my research in stand-up comedy, so I was like, oh, the Improv's a place. There's nothing about the store. There's nothing out there. The store is just a mystery. At least it used to be.
It still is, too.
It still is, yeah, it still is. So I went to the Improv, and I did the mic there. And then a few days later, I went to the store, and I did the mic there. And the store was light years harder, which I loved. I loved the challenge. And it was the bleakest. Like, you wanted to make the list, but then when you made the list, it was like, great, now I got to perform in front of nobody.
I got to go up.
Yeah, I go up. So it was that feeling. So I decided to opt out and go to the Valley and start out. So I was at the Ha Ha Cafe for my first 6 months. in Los Angeles. I worked there. I did.
You worked at the
I worked at the I used to DJ. I used to bartend. I used to do the phone calls. I used to do the door. I did all that just for stage time. I didn't get paid.
Oh, no, yeah.
And Jack, yeah, he's not going to pay you. So I did that for my first 6 months. And then when I came back around, Tommy kind of saw me hanging out with Gerard and Jamar. I became my crew, Gerard, Jamar, and Angelo, and Josh Adam Myers, and Byron Bowers, Adam Sajan, who I haven't seen in years. Tomaszewski, just the crew, you know what I mean? I started hitting mics with them, and then the store, I would go around and I became friends with Tony Hinchcliffe and Matt Edgar, just naturally. We just had a bond. And Dan Bedonia is also another guy. And then I showcased at the store in 2010, and they asked me to work there. That was I didn't get passed. They said, you should work here. And then I started working there, and the rest, obviously, I worked there for a couple years, and then I got passed, and I've been a paid regular there since 2012, I believe. So it's the store, I never really seeked it. It captured me.
Right.
You know, I didn't go out looking for it. And that's how it usually works. You know, when I hear stories of people, they go to the store once and they get hooked.
It is a magical place. And it's hard to explain to people.
Yeah, and when you explain it, it doesn't sound enticing at all. You know, it's this old black building where they're serving overpriced drinks. You know, it doesn't sound that great, but it really is a fun place. You know, if you're in Los Angeles, you have to go by the Comedy Store. You have to.
I mean, it's like the bar in Star Wars. It's like every unsavory character.
Yeah.
With a couple talented people, the Han Solos of the comedy world.
Yeah.
I mean, the Improv's great too. Like, I love performing there.
But it's harder to go by the spots there. You know, it's hard to get.
It's tough. I mean, they put up their comics, and you know, I treat an Improv spot like a lottery ticket.
Well, that was one thing about the store that I liked. That also was drawn to was the Tommy aspect, because you say what you want about the guy. At least he was there every day in that cover booth, trying to be a talent coordinator, I guess. Where you was watched by the talent coordinator every time. The Improv, you were lucky if Rita was there. You know, she was the one that watched, and if she watched you, it didn't really mean anything because you didn't really get passed through the open mics at the Improv.
Right.
You could at the Comedy Store. So there was an end. There was like some sort of route. I didn't know what that route would be, but there was a way to become a paid regular at the Comedy Store.
I mean, my only problem with Tommy was just like, I've always been kind of a no bullshit guy. Like,
yeah,
if you're not into me, just tell me. I'll go to the Improv. I'll go to the Laugh Factory, wherever. And he would encourage people he had no plans of passing, like, come hang out.
Yeah.
It's like, I would think it would lessen your headache by having less people around that you have no intention of taking care of. Like, but I don't mind people he hooked up, like you or Jamar or Matt Edgar or Hinchcliffe.
Well, he didn't really hook up Jamar either. I remember when they were doing Roast Battle, when it was first popping and they were arguing amongst each other. The creators of the show were arguing amongst each other.
I still don't know what was going on there.
I have no idea.
I don't want to get in trouble.
I don't know. All I know is it seems like it worked out extremely well for Rel.
Okay, can I ask you, is it true that the show BattleBots was named after him too?
Yeah, it is. No.
That's what I heard through the grapevine.
And there and managers here were calling on behalf of Rel and pressuring the store to pass him if he wanted to continue doing Roast Battle there. That's what managers do. And I remember Tommy telling me this, and I was adamant. I was furious because I said, "You haven't even passed Jamar Neighbors yet. You know, the guy is ready to be passed.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and you're gonna pass this other person because some managers told you to. Like I thought this was the Comedy Store. You know, and Tommy kind of smiled, and like a couple weeks later, he passed Jamar. I'm not saying I did it myself, but maybe I helped. And, but But Tommy definitely did that. I saw him do it a lot because I would work the OR and how he would tell people, "Oh, just keep hanging out," and I would see people hanging out, and it's like, Tommy, these people have lives. They can't just hang out at the store 6 hours and not go up.
Yeah, I mean, I would think. Like, I like how Adam does it. Like, I don't know exactly what he says to people, but if you're not his cup of tea, he'll tell you in the nicest way possible.
He will tell you.
But I mean, it lightens. Like, if I were ever a talent coordinator, I would be the same way. I'd be like, hey man, what you do. Sorry, I haven't figured out how to turn off the noises.
Yeah, what is going on here?
Get the phone binging. I
all
listen.
linked up.
I'm a one-man operation.
Yeah.
But I would just say to a comic, hey, what you do isn't for me. I don't want you to waste your time up here. If you want to come up here, you can, but it's probably not going to happen for you anytime soon. That way they know what the deal is. Tommy would do the opposite. With me, he was never going to pass me. But he would be like, you got to keep working on your bands. You got to move around. It's like, why are you giving me advice? It's like, just tell me, hey, man.
Yeah.
Ain't for me.
Yeah.
You know, which is why I started doing the character in Roast Battle. Like, it's crazy that Tommy is really the reason I got on television.
It reminds me of that Jim Carrey story where that Fire Marshal Bill.
Yeah.
It's based off a real person.
Oh, really?
And he was the fire marshal of the Comedy Store. It was like this guy, and he said he looked like that. So Jim Carrey started doing an impression of him, and that impression of him, what he did on In Living Color, blew up. So
oh my God.
The inspiration usually are real people, because people are characters, and sometimes they don't even see it. It just takes another person to pull it out and showcase it.
I mean, you really couldn't.
Like Sandy Danto with Dean Delray,
Oh yeah.
I find myself doing Sandy's, and I was talking to Dean one time, and Dean kind of went, "Yeah." And I was like, "Are you doing an impression of you right now?" Because that's how how much Sandy's got that impression down.
I mean, you've made it at the store when there's impressions going on about you.
Yeah. I've only had one person do an impression of me, and it was really good.
Who was it?
It was Jeremy Scipio.
Oh,
And it was such a very subtle impression. It was me. He just went, just frustrated Willie, because I was always frustrated when I hosted potluck, and I always looked like I was on the brink of destruction. And so he would just go, I don't know. I'm just stick around. We'll see. And it was hilarious. But when people start doing impressions of you, you have your voice, and the way you speak, your inflections.
Very slow.
Well, it's a cold business.
It's going to get colder for some. Jeremiah does probably the best.
Yes.
He'll do the glasses thing and, yeah, suck it. It's a cold business. For Ralphie May, it was a cold cut business. So, Ralphie, you knew Ralphie. Ralphie said, Earl, when I die, make fun of me. And I have.
You have. You've lived up to that promise.
Oh, absolutely. And he would love it, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would want that. I mean, even like some sort of memorial there's going to be some jokes flying there.
Oh, yeah. At Ralphie's memorial at the Improv, it was like, it was crazy. I mean, Jeff Ross was amazing. Like, he my respect level for him went up 1,000. Because you could tell he really loved Ralphie.
Yeah. He really did.
Everyone loved Ralphie.
Everyone. I loved him too. He was very nice. He was very genuine. He was a genuine guy. I remember his roast battle, he didn't like it against, was it Miss Pat?
Well, that was a good pairing, though, because they're both kind of shit talkers.
Oh, he went against Mike Lawrence. That's the one he didn't like.
Well, yeah, I could understand why. Well, he tried to wing it.
Yeah.
And roast battle is something, other than George Perez, I've never seen anyone. And Teddy Ray. They're the only two I think that can just go up there or come in this room right now and roast you and me.
Yeah.
Where I need to be, I have game plans, charts,
like say if someone says this, then I got a rebuttal for this.
Yeah,
and then,
the wave jumps up when I say that. What are they going to, trying to think about what you're going to do. And Ralphie just, Mike Lawrence is probably the worst person in the world to wing it against. because he's so prepared.
He's always gonna, yeah.
He's gonna have 8 jokes. He's gonna have subcategories, jokes.
As far as prolific writers, I don't know anyone that's a prolific joke writer. Like, I knew Angelo, and Angelo and Mike Lawrence are very similar, even in the looks department too, which is weird. That Mike Lawrence that guy is a joke writing machine.
Yeah, and he's made for roast battle. You know, I mean, when they asked me to battle him on Facebook Live, it was probably the most scared I've ever been battling anyone.
Really?
Well, we did a recap of the Rob Lowe roast, and I think it was Ryan Moran was like, "Hey, you know, just to tie things up in a nice bow, why don't you guys battle each other?" I'm like, "There's not going to be anyone in the room." He's like, "Oh, the camera guys will be there." I'm like, "Well," so you know, it's hard enough to battle Mike with judges and a nice atmosphere.
Yeah.
It would be like literally battling you right now.
No, that's no good.
But you know, I it's hard to say who won because you know there's no. But you know, I held my own. You know.
Yeah, I believe you. When I used to roast.
You were great. You roasted Pete C, who's in chat right now.
Oh, really? Pete C beat me. It was a good battle. We were going back and forth, and I got I said a line and it got a good laugh, and I decided to milk it by taking a step off the stage and putting my arms up to try to declare that I'm the victor. And as soon as I stepped off stage, I made a joke about Pete being an alcoholic. And as soon as I stepped off stage, Pete goes, "Yeah, I may be an alcoholic, but my liver is the blackest thing on this stage." Boom! I'm in midair, you know, with my hands up like I've declared the victor. Room just devoured me. Coach T's playing sounds in the back, you know, whoopsie, you know, whatever he's doing. And you're over there howling because you're, you know, the wave is, they turned their back on me. I'm a member, and they went, it was just chaos against Pete. But the most nervous I was ever against was when I went against Mike Favorman. And the reason why I was nervous was it was the first time I just became a new paid regular at the store. And I think it was the first time they had a couple paid regulars on Roast Battle, too.
Right. Because there's not a lot of paid regulars associated with the show in terms of battlers.
Yeah. And the reason why I was nervous is because people came in to watch it. Sebastian came and watched it. Bobby Lee came and watched it. Steve Renazizi was up. Everyone was up there, like these, you know, older comics, veteran comics that are a class above me. And I was nervous. I was like, God, not only am I going to bomb because I thought I was going to do terrible, I'm going to do it in front of people that I admire. I was really nervous, but it turned out well, and it was a great battle. My battle, I think my record is 2-4. I think I've done 6 of them. All the battles are fun, but I always lose when it goes to another round because I'm like, I'm over it at that time. And they always try to milk another round out of it. Even if you won the first 2, they're like, I think we need one more. Like, no, we don't need one more because I got no more jokes. I got nothing.
We don't. But I mean, I think you and I are getting similar. Like, we're both competitive. Like, if I won, you know,
I take it serious. You know,
well, you should. I mean, like, there's such a potential to be embarrassed up there. And even more so on television. That, you know, I'm competitive. It's like if I'm winning a battle, it's like I've won. I'm not.
That was the craziest part when we were in Montreal and we're running around shopping for wave stuff, having a good time. You know, thinking about the bits we're gonna do and watching you battlers walk around. You guys were a nervous wreck. You know, all of you were because it was filmed. You know, and you didn't know how. It was the first time it was gonna be filmed. You didn't know how you're gonna look, and you know. All the camera stuff, and then you wanted your jokes to be good too at the same time, and then you got to think about your intros. I mean, Tony coming out in that armor. I mean, I was like, "What is going on?" Tony doing an intro. What is happening here? I don't miss battling at all. I don't at all.
I do, but because I love the strategy. I probably don't give many people the idea that I'm a thinker. Mm-hmm. I'm probably not, but. In terms of roast battle, I love going, okay, I'm going to battle Willie. He's going to probably say something about my last relationship, so I got to have a rebuttal about his relationship. You know, he's going to say something about, you know, I'm so much older than him, so I got to, like, you know, like, I love doing that.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't like doing that. You could probably be a great detective, with one of those boards with all the pictures on it with strings.
That's me.
That's how you do your roast jokes. This connects to this and that connects to that. Oh, don't forget this,
But that's like that's the fun part about roast battle for me is when you're roasting a friend. Okay, they know me, I know them. I know who they fucked, they know who I fucked, so there's going to be a joke about that. And,
Well, it's fun when you battle against someone you know and you like, and it's gentlemanly. Sometimes it's not like that.
Well, I've only battled, I think I've been 9 2, so I battled 12 times. I've only battled one person I didn't like.
Oh, okay.
It was fair, because I won't, you're going to shit on me, I better like you.
Yeah.
You're going to make jokes about my parents dying 2 months apart, I better fucking love you, or I'll swing on your ass. I was.
There's been some times where I think one time there was almost a fight in roast battle, or a couple of times probably.
Well, it was. It was. I know Amy. Who was it? It was a girl battle. It was
Really?
Jen Sturger against I think Amy Cheapo, and Jen had said something to Amy, and then I think Edie Gibson stormed the stage and got pretty aggressive. And, of course, every guy in the room's like, all right, there's 3 hot babes on the stage.
Yeah. Oh, cat fight. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
I don't recall 2 guys ever getting close to fighting.
The only 2 that I know got close to fighting, and I may be remembering it wrong, but I thought it could have been Eric Marino versus Jerron Horton.
Well, I think Eric was...
He wasn't even trying to battle. He was just trying to get under his skin.
Yeah, and so that... And Jerron... Jerron's another dude like us, I think. Somewhat quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Competitive. I mean, he's an athlete. I mean, you guys are like athletes. As you can see, so am I by my mini ball hockey
Look at that.
trophies.
Jesus Christ. How many seasons is that?
That's... when you're 49, you get in a lot of seasons. But Eric, you're right. It was just kind of he wasn't even roasting. He was just, I gave you this opportunity and whatever else he was saying. And Jerron's like, you could tell the look on his face. He's starting to square up, and he's a big dude. Like,
yeah.
He might be late a little. I
think he used the box too.
Yeah. He's not someone I would antagonize, to be honest. So I mean, I try and. But when you do roast battle on television, you're not necessarily in charge of who you're battling.
Yeah.
So you could end up. I know in the roast battle UK version.
But don't you get together with the roaster and kind of this gives the dirt on me and then there's the dirt on you?
Yeah,
and you swap stories and stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm so known at the Comedy Store. It's like my shit's out there.
Yeah.
So, but if it's like in Montreal, I asked Tom Ballard, hey, what do you need to know?
Yeah.
With Jimmy, I think he did his own research, but I would have told him.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah, obviously knew each other, and Kate Travers. I said, hey, this is, I think I sent him an email, when we knew it was going to be us. Said, hey, if we do battle Sunday night, here's, this, that.
And that was another thing you guys had to worry about. If you won, who would you have to write jokes for 2 people, basically. 3. Wow.
Because in the second season, I think they did it a little fairer where they got more days off in between, so you were more prepared but on Friday night I beat Jimmy Carr, so Friday night I started writing jokes about Mike Lawrence, Sarah Tiana, and Kate Trevor Wilson.
Wow. Because
I knew I was battling Sarah, but then I was like, well, I don't know who's going to win between Mike and Kate Trevor, so you had to write for both.
Wow.
So I think
I always thought, and I've been saying this about roast battle for years, and I even tell Moses this, that it should go more towards a professional wrestling approach. Create storylines, create divisions. You have your undisputed champion, and then I think it'd be fun if you had a women's champion too. And not saying because you want to categorize women as champion, but it'd be funny if a gay guy owned the women's championship.
Right.
Or a women's champion became the undisputed champion. She's holding 2 belts. Just making it like that, and then doing quick roast champion where you just do 1 round, and then really build up these roasters like you guys. You all have your own story. We've seen you so much. We know what you're going to bring to the table. So I would love to see Earl versus whoever that I know that would be a good match. You know.
Well, I just think I agree with everything you just said, and I think that the battles are always better when they know each other. So hopefully there's a built-in storyline already. Like,
Yeah.
I would have done season 1 completely differently in terms of the battles. Like, you had me and my ex-girlfriend in the show. I mean, I don't know how they didn't put us together. It's like he's the oldest roaster, she's the youngest. They just broke up. That's a storyline you need no writers for. Like, you literally, it's like just give them the 2 mics. And we'd already battled once before.
Yeah.
I would have put Renazizi instead of someone from New York who he didn't know. I would put him up against either me, Hinchcliffe, or Tiana.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that. And then you put Mike Lawrence against...
I almost forgot about the Renazizi one. Man, and I remember watching it. It was painstakingly just...
It's tough.
It was tough. But at the same time, it felt like he needed to go through it.
Well, I don't know if Roast Battle's the venue I would choose for redemption.
If you said you think 9/11 and you want some redemption and you throw yourself in Roast Battle, that's pretty admirable. A little bit. To me, I was like, that's what you're gonna hear. And then people that may not know about it will now know about it, and it will stay there. Like it's.
But I would just think that it would have been a better battle if it was against Tony, Sarah, me.
He wouldn't have been as nervous, I tell you that.
Wouldn't have been as nervous. He had Danish and O'Neill helping him write, so they would have gone, especially if it was me. They know my areas. So, Sam Morrell and Steve just had no chemistry. Mm-hmm. So it was just like, that joke's not funny, that joke's not funny. And then Steve stumbled on his joke, and then it was over. And I would have put Sam Morrell against Mike Lawrence. They know each other.
Yeah.
Mark Norman against Christy Cielo. They know each other. I would have had an LA bracket, a New York bracket, an international bracket, where Tom and Jimmy knew each other. Mm-hmm. But I'm a roaster. I don't know what a TV executive.
It kind of sounds like you would run it like Little League baseball, like how they do the Little League World Series.
Well, yeah. You want Huntington Beach to play against Orange County. They know each other. Yeah. I just in season 2 I would have casted differently. The LA New York battles weren't good because it's like, all right, this person doesn't really know this person. It's just going to be generic. Willie, you look like, you and I would be a great battle.
Yeah.
Because we know each other, we love each other. Nothing's going to be taken personally. That's how I would do it. But
the familiarity of it really helps a lot. No, I agree. That's why the Mike Faberman battle that I did turned out well is because we generally like each other and respect each other. So
you're not
gonna cross a line to where someone wants to get physical.
Yeah,
or let's try to embarrass someone. Some people go into that thinking that's what they want to do. I want to embarrass this person.
Well, some people have done that to me, and you know what? It just didn't quite work out. But
I just think because if you don't like the person, it's just shitting on them.
Yeah.
And that's not roasting to me. But I did like how Roast Battle UK did it. It was people who knew each other. You don't need storylines because. You and I would be a great battle because it's like, okay, he was the co-host or not, the sidekick on the Willie Hunter show. They got a chemistry. Maybe you could spin it the hater against the wave or something. There's almost no storyline that needs to be written.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
You sitting by that phone waiting?
Well, listen. Never say never. But I don't worry about it because, I don't.
You can't worry about it.
I did Anna Valenzuela's podcast, 12 Questions with Alex Duong, and she had a great question of how do you surrender, and in terms because that's the number one question I get is will you do Roast Battle again? And the jelly say is that coming back? And it's like I can't. It's out of my hands.
Yeah.
I don't worry about things I can't control.
Yeah, you'll drive yourself nuts.
like the Carmichael show. I mean, I'm sure every week someone's looking at the ratings, going, "Okay, how are we doing?" You know.
Yeah.
And like, has you been on the show? Like, how did you deal with like the constant pressure of ratings and going up against this show and that show? I mean, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it's definitely it's out of your hands, and all you can do is just do the best you can do and hope for everything that turns out correctly.
Willie's phone's blowing up like mad. This is what happens when you have someone who actually makes a living in Hollywood. They get phone calls in the daytime. But like how do you deal? Like, that's an NBC show, billboards all over the city. Like, what was the pressure like each week to write the best show you can?
You know, there was really no pressure at all. I thought Gerard was a great captain. I think he ran a good game plan to where it was always easy, and we were more focused on making sure that each episode had his voice.
Right.
And if we did that, everything else was going to be fine. So we never really worried about the ratings, because we always got thrown like shit positions. We'll be on Sunday one week, and then they'll change us and put us on Wednesday the next week. So they never really set us up for success. But we did succeed critically, which was that's where it didn't matter for us for the ratings, because the critics really liked. They would go out of their way and write these nice articles about the show. So that gave us a little ease that, how many people are watching our show? Oh, we only have 4.5 million, and Blackish gets 5 million, you know. And like, you can't compare the shows; they're different.
No.
And I was happy that we had 3 seasons. You know, that was the coolest thing. I was very, very, very grateful for 3 seasons of television.
And you were nominated for an Emmy, right? The episode you wrote.
Well, the episode I wrote, and everyone says Emmy. It's not an Emmy. It was a Writers Guild Award.
Well, I like to exaggerate.
But I like Emmy, so I'm not going to correct. And I went to the award show, and the episode that I wrote lost to a Will and Grace episode.
It's a cold business, Willie. It's welcome to Hollywood. It could have been worse. You could have lost to a Blackish episode.
And everyone at our table went, Will and Grace? And I mean, everyone was shocked, you know, because they're like, no one's watching the new Will and Grace, but it's, you know, it's a gay show.
Well, you know. But what can you do? Like, it's out of your hands.
I was happy to be nominated. I had a good meal and I had a couple drinks, did the red carpet. It was fun. I'd love to do it again if I get nominated for something. I always thought I wouldn't like to do award shows and stuff, but I would.
I really am a one-man operation. God damn it. Sorry, guys. This is what happens when you're a one-man show. The clicker doesn't work, and we have... I did not pay for MSNBC to advertise on this podcast. But now what's next for Willie?
Right now, I want to get back into the performing side. I think I've been neglecting that for the past few years. I'm still going to write. I want to get staffed on a show or something, but I want to get back out there and show people that I am, too, a good performer. I think people only knows me as a writer, and I do late spots at the Comedy Store, but I'm a pretty good comic, too. You know, I like to think that I'm funny, and I want to show the world that. So that's what I'm really focusing on now. Of course, bringing the Willie Hunter Show back, you know, with you as well. We're going to try to do that at the Dynasty Typewriter. I think that's what it's called, the new place.
Jamie Flam.
Jamie Flam's place. We're going to talk to him. And just keep creating, as what people keep saying, creating content. That's what people want, I guess. So we keep creating content and have fun. I want to make sure to keep having fun, because every now and then I get stressed over little things. Like I had to get new managers, and it was such a stressful ordeal. And I was like, it's not that. These are good problems here. You know?
Oh yeah.
Some people don't even have a manager.
Yeah, you're staring at one right now. 3 TV shows. I can't get a fucking manager. Welcome to Jesus Christ.
It's a cold business.
Yeah, it's getting colder in here. Now, I like to do a little tease. We've got a few minutes left.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a question, but I'm going to cut the Facebook Live off before you answer it.
Okay.
So for the Facebook Live fans, where can they find you on social media and whatnot?
Twitter, you can find me at Will Hunter Show. Instagram, Willie_Hunter. And my phone number is 323. No, I'm not giving you my phone number.
Rebecca's like, are you out of your mind?
That's where you can find me on social media.
All right, well, I hate to end the Facebook Live portion with one of my favorite hockey players of all time, the legendary Sandro Sabroka in-house. Sandro, you got here too late. But for the fans, Willie, who are your comic influences? Don't answer for 3 seconds.